Overnight low 9 Celsius, 48 degrees Fahrenheit. Clear periods with low cloud. Mist forming overnight as well. Later today, low cloud will soon clear, leaving a warm day with sunny periods. Excellent biking weather, mother. Top temperature 20 Celsius, 68 degrees Fahrenheit. And the outlook, more of the same. Warm with long sunny periods. Temperature now 11 Celsius, 52 degrees Fahrenheit. Midnight Line on Beacon and WABC. Okie dokie, my old culture lovers. What have we got for you? Well, it's a free-for-all. So you can talk about anything you want to talk about this morning. 754-123 in Wolverhampton, 236-235 in Shrewsbury. Those are the numbers you need. So, what's going on in the news? Well, Western Europe faced with ecological disaster yet again. A BP tanker it is this time. Should I just take my jacket off, because it looks like I'm not staying. There we go. Hey, right. BP tanker. It's crippled. There we go. Just adjust camera 3 while we're at it. Absolutely crippled. What do you do? How do you start this? I mean, the authorities are saying stuff like, "Oh, don't worry. There's no environmental damage. Don't worry about it." Just because we dump a load of crude oil into the sea and... Don't worry. I was watching a report on it and it said, well, don't worry, because it's only light oil. Well, okay, I'll go with that as opposed to heavy oil. All right, I'll go with that. And they said, don't worry about it. Right, okay, I can get away with not worrying about it. Why shouldn't I worry about it? And they said, well, because it'll break up. Great, I can go with that, and it'll sink to the bottom. Oh, fine, okay. So it'll just sink to the bottom and pollute to the bottom. So it's okay if... the bottom of the sea's polluted, just we don't want the top polluting. Is that what we're talking about? Very, very strange. What about the fish? How do you explain that to the fish? Look, you're all right, fish, because it's only the bottom that's actually polluted, not the top. You can't tell a fish that. They get jolly upset. But you can talk about anything you want to talk about. Should Graham Taylor go? There are calls. I couldn't believe the tabloid press. The tabloid press are saying he should go and he should go now. What a load of rubbish. How could he possibly go in the middle of a World Cup campaign? I mean, okay, England were abysmal, I will give you that, but I would have thought to be even more abysmal if they were rudderless. So you can talk about that. Anything else that crosses your mind? 754-123 in Wolverhampton, 236-235 in Shrewsbury. 40 years and 1 day since Her Majesty the King... Queen, I was close. I still look a bit budge. Her Majesty the Queen ascended the throne to reign over us. In this day and age, do we actually want a monarchy? Do we need a monarchy? What do you reckon? I mean, there was a big review, Battle at the Atlantic the other week. Do we still need to keep doing that? How much did it cost to put on a Battle of the Atlantic commemoration? At the end of it, we've got some very poor people in this society. So, do we actually need to keep commemorating events that are over and done with 45 years ago? 754-123 in Wolverhampton, 236-235 in Shrewsbury. The great R. St. John's ambulance people, pale, thin and ugly debate continues. Dear Ian, on Tuesday night, Mark said, not me, you understand. On Tuesday night, Mark said that St. John ambulance people are all pale, thin and ugly. I happened to be a St. John cadet and was very upset when he said this. I'm not at all pale. I'm not thin or fat either, and if I'm ugly, I don't care. I enjoy going to my meetings, and I'm sure other St. John members feel just as strongly as I do. If Mark doesn't like it, he doesn't have to come to us for help. So there you go, Mark. Next time you faint at a football match, don't go to Helen Barrett, aged 12. Because you said, you did, that she was pale, thin and ugly. So are there any more St. John's ambulance people who don't believe that they are pale, thin and ugly? Waite Road is the home of Elaine Beardsmore, age 16, and an addicted fan of the Midnight Line. She says, Dear Ian, could you please send me a photo of yourself? I'd love to see the voice. The face, even, behind the voice. Well, here you go. If I hold it up to camera 3. Just like that. There you go. As soon as we get them, we'll send them out. No sign of them at the moment, though. Falling Fallings Park is the home of Fred Nurk, if we're to believe this, and says, Dear Ian, I'm absolutely fed up of hearing the insipid comments of Ken the Embalmer and that nutter from Shrewsbury, Johnny Morris. They're a pair of Burks. Right, and then he goes on to say things he doesn't like about them. So we'll just can that one. Thanks for that. I don't know. There is freedom of speech and freedom of opinion in this country, you know. 754-123 in Wolverhampton and 236-235 in Shrewsbury. It's a free-for-all, so you can talk about anything you want to talk about on this line. Here is... I don't know, because I've put the list over here. Is John. Good morning, John. Tom.
Hello?
I was close. Tom, John, Tom. What can we do for you?
I was just, well, I've been listening for about a year. And
it's only been on 10 minutes. It just feels like a year.
Oh, that's probably it then. It's a long day.
Yes. What can we do for you?
Well, I've sort of been listening, and you've always sort of taken a strong line against sort of fascism and racism, which I sort of agree with a lot. And I've listened to this bloke the other day, and he says that the sort of worst product of fascism was anti-fascism. Sort of like anti-fascists are getting fascistic in their behaviour, if you like.
Yeah, I think he's right. It's called, well, there's a social...
Where can you draw the line?
Well, what happens is that, I suppose if you follow the extreme right, yeah?
Yeah.
And you follow the extreme left, what you do is you meet up in the middle.
Come full circle, yeah.
Yeah, you meet up in the middle, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, you look at, there's no difference between Joe Stalin and Adolf Hitler, despite one would have said, well, I'm right-wing, and he said, oh, I'm not, I'm a communist, I believe in the working man. And yet there's actually no difference. Do you believe that there is racism in this country?
Definitely, yeah.
But, I mean, if you look at the unfortunate events of Germany, and that have happened in Germany over the past week, 2 weeks,
yeah. I
mean, surely we're not racist compared to that.
Well, I think it's getting that way. I mean, so the Tory party are sort of giving platform to a lot of the fascist speakers from Germany.
There was something I couldn't believe on the news tonight. They said that some junior minister resigned last week, and said one of the reasons he resigned is because the cabinet is populated by left-wingers. I thought, what?
Which cabinet's that?
Well, this is the Tory cabinet, right?
Oh, right, that one.
That's the one. And they have pictures of all these well-known left-wingers like Kenneth Clarke.
Oh, yeah.
Well, if he's a left-winger, how does this guy define a right-winger? You know, Attila the Hun? I just don't. I can't understand Kenneth Clarke being called a left-winger.
Well, things he could be called, I suppose, but not a left-winger.
So racism is on the march again, do you believe?
Definitely.
What about Germany? How far do you worry about that?
Quite a lot, because if it's happening there, it's. I mean, a lot of the fascist speakers are coming over and are getting platforms in England to speak, which is worrying. The anti-Nazi League sort of started off again. I think it was last May. I've been a member sort of since then.
Of the what?
The Anti-Nazi League.
I think I used to have a badge with that on.
Yeah.
Is that the one with the arrow?
Yeah, that's right, you're a student.
Yeah, that's right, a yellow badge.
That's right, yeah.
With an arrow that says, National Union, or is it Students Against the Fascists, or Nazis?
I think there's different badges, things like that, yeah.
Yeah, I've still got my badge. Hey, I was an activist, man. I used to wear badges, that's how activist I got.
But I was just sort of thinking, where'd you draw the line between kind of opposing fascism and becoming fascist yourself? I don't know.
I suppose the problem is trying to maintain this idea of a country that practices free speech.
Yeah, well...
I mean, how can you practice free speech and then say to somebody, but you can shut up because I don't like what you're saying?
Well, I think it's where it becomes insulting to other people, so, like, fascists have obviously got to be stopped because... But
then if something's insulting to a fascist...
that's what... You know, I don't know where to draw the line, but sort of I still carry on opposing fascism, but... Yeah, I don't want to be... it's a tough problem. I've been thinking about it.
It's incredibly tough, because you can't, by definition, oppose something without being authoritarian against it.
That's right.
And then if you're authoritarian, aren't you a bit of a fascist?
That's it. It's the full circle again, isn't it?
What conclusions did you reach?
Well, everything in moderation. I still go and I still carry on trying to oppose fascism, but...
When you say you try to oppose fascism...
Well, it's just like...
Where do you see fascism in this society?
I don't know. Everywhere I go, I see fascism and racism.
How do you define fascism?
I don't know. You can't really call it right-wing ideals, but... Because it's sort of... There's fascism on the left and the right. But,
So it's really authoritarianism. It's imposing other people's views on... Or somebody's views on somebody who doesn't particularly want to accept them.
Yeah, it's kind of like the media view of fascism you tend to see around society, which is kind of like, UNF and your BNP. sort of leaflet. I mean, I go to Studley College, and it's kind of like every toilet door there's got an NF sticker on, and there's people, sort of yobs walking around handing out leaflets and things like that. What can you do? You know, you can only confront them so much. You know.
What did the leaflets say?
Sort of white power, things like that, white supremacy. They're taking our jobs. You know, all the old arguments that get stumbled up every couple of years.
I saw the white supremacy playing football against Norway the other night. Very funny. Yes, hilarious. So there are right-wing activists, there are left-wing activists.
Yeah, so it's drawing the line, isn't it? I mean,
see, I think you get more right-wing the older you get. I actually caught myself looking. I went for a beer.
Yeah.
At lunchtime, and I caught myself looking at this girl, not because she was a girl, but because she was wearing the softest hat you've ever seen in your life.
Hat?
Yeah. It was like a psychedelic Paddington Bear hat, you know?
Yeah.
And it was real, yeah, right on, bro.
Oh, I see, yeah.
And I thought, oh, what a jerk. And I thought, how, Ian?
Yeah.
She can wear what she wants, it's not up to you. And I thought, I'm turning into a heavy fascist.
That's it.
So I think the older you get, the more right-wing you get.
Well, it hasn't started to hit me yet, but...
Well, how old are you?
I'm only 20.
Oh, there you go. Give you 15 years, you'll be voting Tory.
Oh, right.
I'm afraid that happens to the best of us, mate. Not that I have yet.
Oh, well, a few years left, I suppose.
OK, but where do you draw the line between repressing fascism and being a fascist yourself?
Yeah, I'd like to hear everyone else's views, you know.
OK, fair point. Fair point. Thanks for that.
All right.
See you soon.
Ta-ra.
Ta-ra. There we go. Tom on Beacon and WABC. It's the Midnight Line, 754-123 in Wolverhampton, 236-235 in Shrewsbury. It's a free-for-all. That means that you can talk about absolutely anything you want to talk about. Those are the numbers that you need to dial, and we will be back to the lines after this award-winning commercial break.
A new Renault 19, Brother Jocelyn? Isn't it wonderful, Father? But Brother Jocelyn, our vow of poverty. Sorry, Father, but until June 14th, Renault had this super offer. Put down 50% deposit on any petrol engine Renault 19 and get 2 years to repay the balance at 0% interest. That's no interest at all, Father. It's heavenly. Brother Jocelyn, do you know what this is? This 0% interest. Temptation, Father. Temptation. Renault Wolverhampton on the Bilston Road have the Renault 19 RL Prima 3-door from £8,459 on the road, with a 50% deposit of £4,229 and 24 monthly payments of £176. Offer subject to status. Call Renault Wolverhampton on Wolverhampton 453 111 for a written quotation. Bags I drive.
Enjoy the biggest thrill you'll ever have with your clothes on and help raise money for the Spastic Society. We're looking for daredevils to join Beacon Radio this Sunday to abseil 100 feet down the Windsor Life building in Telford. Alternatively, if you've ever watched the Krypton Factor, you could do the Spastic Society sponsored assault course on Sunday the 13th of June. Get involved by helping to raise much needed funds and have a great time. Phone us now at Beacon on 0902 757 211. Now these are just two events. If you'd like to get involved in any other or require information, then call us on 0902 757 211. The Spastic Society, raising money for people with cerebral palsy.
You thought dinosaurs didn't exist anymore, but that's because they've been hiding. We've found them. The brilliant Dynamation's robotic dinosaur exhibition's been touring the UK, and now it's here at the West Midlands Safari and Leisure Park. Between now and the 10th of July, you can see their amazing Dinosaurs Alive exhibition for just £1 extra when you visit the West Midlands Safari and Leisure Park. So don't let grown-ups tell you that dinosaurs don't exist. Come and see them at the West Midlands Safari and Leisure Park on the A456 between Bewbury and Kidderminster. See you there.
Midnight Line on Beacon and WABC. We spoke to Tom. Tom said, where do you draw the line between opposing fascists and becoming one yourself? Good question. Good bit of philosophical debate. Could go on there if you want, but you can talk about anything you want because it's a free-for-all. We got Dave there, haven't we? Yes, good. It's a free-for-all. So 754-123 in Wolverhampton, 236-235 in Shrewsbury. Talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. This is the Back with a Vengeance phone call of Common Dave. Hello.
Hello, mate.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm all right. Are you still common?
Yes, I'm still common.
Good. We wouldn't have it any other way. Being common's a state of mind.
Yes.
Not a state of bank balance.
Exactly.
Yes.
I mean, at the moment, I was today outside in this, what you call it, the cubicle. I think it's a phone box, actually. But, British Telecom at the moment is letting people down. Left, right and centre.
Well, apart from the shareholders.
Well, there's no door on here. For his daughter, I found... Oh, it ain't cold, so I can't say I'm freezing.
What do you want a door for?
Keep the draft out.
You don't have somebody ripping it off. You don't want a door. Doors are going to cost the shareholder money.
Well, I'm just standing here with a T-shirt on at the moment, and...
Haven't you got any trousers on? You should watch that.
Yes, I've got my trousers on, and my shoes, socks...
And a T-shirt.
And a T-shirt.
And so you...
Unfortunately, it's not a Beacon T-shirt, but there you go.
You deliberately found a British Telecom phone box to phone us from so you could get annoyed?
No, not annoyed, you know. I thought ring up and find out, tell me how much is going on, you know.
Oh, absolutely rocking and rolling, man.
You know, like Johnny Morris and Ken, Eric, etc., etc.
Oh, absolutely rocking and rolling. Rocking it. Why? What have you been doing?
I've been trucking, mate. Up and down the country like a yo-yo. I still have only got one eye. That works.
So you're still lorry driving with one eye?
Yeah.
There you go.
I've got a full driving licence and my doctor gave me the okay, so that's what I'm doing.
Okie dokie. And you're enjoying yourself? Because you used to phone us every night, didn't you?
Exactly, I do, yes.
But no longer?
But no longer. I mean, tomorrow, well, with it being weekend and everything else, it's a bit quiet, so...
I often think that full employment in this country would actually crucify late-night phone-in shows, audiences.
It possibly would.
I'm against anything to do with, full employment.
Oh, come on. It would be nice.
No, it wouldn't. Not for
like
me.
Jumping out of one job into another one.
There'd be me unemployed, and that'd be it.
I'll still listen to you, mate, whenever possible.
You're a very kind person.
Well, that's the way I am, you know, you don't take me or leave me, you know. It's just the way I am.
Was there anything in particular that we want? Just hold on a second. What's that?
It's very hot. I've got a new system. You get a cup of cold coffee out the machine, take it downstairs, put it in the microwave, but
and it melts.
Don't put it in for a minute, otherwise the cup shrinks.
Yes, it does, doesn't it?
It's very hot. Well, it's the same size, but it's just, instead of being a long cup, it's a short, fat cup now.
Because you've microwaved a plastic cup.
Yeah, microwave should plastic.
Very inventive, that, James.
Yeah, it's hot coffee. It'll keep you going.
It certainly is hot, I'll give you that. Thanks for that, Mr. Jim. There we go, the tea's arrived, freshly microwaved. Nothing quite like a pot of freshly microwaved tea, as my old granny used to say. Isn't that right, David?
Yes.
Sorry, what was it we could do for you?
Mr. Herb Turnip, I can make Taylor.
Taylor?
Yes.
What about him? He's great.
No, I reckon he should do the honourable thing and resign.
Why?
Well,
he can't possibly resign.
What are you doing for English football?
Headless chicken scenario. Well, come on, let's get this in perspective. England have only lost one World Cup qualifier in the past 12 years.
Yeah, but a certain person was boasting sometime last week that there's no way we could lose these 2 matches. And, you know, at the end of the day, we just got 1 point, which is pathetic. You know, if Atkinson was to go out saying, we're going to do this and we're going to do that, we'd soon get rid of him.
I agree with you that if we don't qualify, he has to go.
Yeah.
I agree with that, but I think everybody... I can't... Well, it's just typical of the Sun. Why the Sun? Just don't... How anti-British do you want to be? You can't get more anti-British than the Sun right at the moment. Anti-English.
I don't know, mate.
Why don't they just shut the traps and let him get on with it?
I haven't read
We're in enough trouble without negativity coming from the Sun.
But personally speaking, I'd like someone like, you know, in the mould of sort of Stevie Coppell or Glenn Oral doing that sort of job. And I can't see him doing any worse than what they are at the moment.
Glenda?
No, Glenn Hoddle.
Glenda Hoddle?
Yes.
That's the one. But they haven't won anything, have they? That's the one thing that Coppell and Hoddle have got in common.
Yeah, but they're both good managers. Yeah.
One playoff at Wembley doesn't make somebody a good manager, does it?
No, yeah, but Glenn Hoddle's been sort of consistent throughout the season with Swindon.
They didn't even get automatic promotion.
Beg pardon?
They didn't even get automatic promotion.
True. But you can say the same thing about Port Vale. That's only sort of 4 points higher than the Albion.
Yeah, but you wouldn't...
the Albion went up.
But you wouldn't have you wouldn't be considering making the manager of Port Vale the England manager, would you?
John Rudge is a nice bloke. He's a very nice bloke.
But you don't want him to manage England. What I'm saying is, you can't just do it emotively. What, the Port Vale manager should go and manage England?
Why not? He couldn't do no worse than Graham Taylor, mate.
I think he could do a lot worse.
I mean, okay, I dare say you got 1 or 2 listeners out in the third country in Stoke-on-Trent probably back me up on this one. There's probably 1 or 2 people out there saying I'm talking out my backside, but everybody's entitled to their own opinion. And I reckon, in my own opinion, Graham Taylor has led both the England side and the English people down.
Well, it's not over yet. It ain't over till it's over.
Well, it's not up to the fat lady things, but it's an uphill battle, really.
Well, I agree, it's an uphill battle, but it ain't over till it's over. I mean, anything could happen. It's a funny old game, football.
As Mr. Grieve would say.
Indeed. Listen, we're going to move on, but
Okay,
we're all glad you're still working.
Oh, I'm still working, mate. No problem.
And we've, well, actually, I think I've had it on the sweepstake.
I've still only got the one eye.
How long is Dave going to go before he loses his job sweepstake? And I've lost now.
I wish I'd have had a bit on that one myself. My gaffer's praising my performance and everything else.
Oh, really?
You know, I'm up down the country like a yo-yo, you know.
I didn't realise yo-yos went up and down the country. Anyway, listen, we're going to move on, mate, but good luck with it.
That's alright, it's no problem. All the best to Eric and Ken
And the world.
who used to know me and used to speak to me.
Okay.
And all the best to yourself. And
Thank you.
keep on biking, keep on trucking.
Will do.
Ta-ra a bit.
Ta-ra. There we go, Dave. He used to phone us every night, Dave, but then he went and got a job. Boring. Jason, good morning.
Good morning.
What can we do you for?
Well, I'd like to digress from football at the moment.
Why not? Digress away.
Well, I'd like to talk about relationships. Well,
Ooh, heavy.
yeah, it is, isn't it, really?
Hey, go on. What sort of relationships?
Well, cheating mainly. Adultery.
Whoa, wouldn't know what you're talking about.
I'm sure you wouldn't.
Phew. As a veteran of 2 marriages, certainly not.
Well, I was just wondering if you could give me a little bit of advice.
What, how to do it?
Well,
How to cheat and get away with it?
That's the one, yeah. Well,
Difficult one. Very difficult.
you see, I've been seeing my best friend's girlfriend for a few days now.
Days? It's gone on as long as that, has it?
Yeah, it has. It's getting serious.
Your best friend?
Yeah,
Oh, some mate you turned out to be.
yeah, I know. I was just wondering if you could offer a bit of advice.
How big is he?
Well, he's big.
Big.
Yeah.
Okay, the advice I give you is leave the country.
Leave the country.
Is he violent?
Only after a few beers.
Well, don't buy him any. Keep him away from a bar and leave the country.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do? Do you want to, break the news to him?
Well, that's the difficult part, I think. I think I might have to. So I've known a couple of relationships happen like this. And,
Well, let's I'll tell you how to tell him, right?
yeah.
What you do is, let's for the sake of argument, suppose that it is a young lady, I take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Let's, I'm not going to presume your sexuality. Right,
Oh, that's fine.
let's presume she's called Sharon.
Yeah.
And he is called Steve.
Yeah.
Right? What you do is you go into the bar, right?
Yeah.
Tomorrow night, Friday night, you go in the bar and you say, put your hand up if you've got a girlfriend called Sharon. Not so fast, Steve. Right? That's how you do it.
Yeah, I like
Subtle,
it.
isn't it?
Yeah, very subtle.
Very, very subtle.
I'll try and make it when his friends aren't around.
Actually, yeah, and it's probably a good idea not to do it in the bar if he gets violent after a few pints.
Yeah, I'll do it early.
What was the attraction?
The attraction?
Was it the danger?
I think it was living life to the edge. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I wish you luck with that,
Well, thanks a lot.
because I got a feeling you're going to be needing it. Okay, next on the lines, on this line here, we've got Martin. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. What can we do you for?
Well, I was just thinking, really, the best way...
Don't start thinking.
No, if his
Not
friend,
on this show.
No, if he wants his friend to find out if he's going out with his girlfriend, just phone up a bloody radio station. I think that sounds about the best way of getting it known.
Absolutely right. He probably used a false name, though.
I bet he didn't use a false voice, though. And there should
Good thinking.
And there should be someone who's going to say, here I heard your mate so-and-so on the radio last night.
And guess what?
And guess what? Oh dear, yes.
Oh dear. What can we do for you this
Well,
morning?
I was just looking at a book. I bought a book cheap today. I always buy cheap books because they're the best kind. And, you know those mysterious organisations that Len was going on about the other week?
This would be the Masons.
Oh, not the Masons, no.
These would be the banks.
Yeah, it's all about the Bilderberg organisation and the Trilateral Commission. I looked in this book and I think, oh my God, here they are listed as actual real organisations. And I thought, oh dear.
Oh dear. Yes, I don't think there's any doubt they exist, but I mean, lots of organisations exist. I think the suggestion the other week was the conspiracy theory that the whole world is run to profit these organisations.
That could explain why they're so profitable, though, I guess.
Well, money makes money, doesn't it?
This is it. So I suppose the thing is, if they got money, they'll want to keep it.
Yes, and get lots more of it.
Oh yeah. Let's see about. I saw something on television tonight. I saw our dear old friend, Mr. Anthony Wakewood Ben, explaining very
The basic
clearly...
premise is this.
As it is, explaining very clearly why we should not have a monarchy, why we should have a republic. And after a while, I thought, hang on a minute, I'm now convinced that we don't need a republic. Because he was...
We don't need a republic?
Yeah, we were talking about it, and I thought, hang on a minute, if Mr. Ben is so convinced that we need a republic, I'm not so sure. Because he was saying, I think he was saying something about, the royal prerogative, that the Queen signs a paper and that then becomes law. He's very cleverly glossing over the fact that they have exactly the same system in America with a president, and every other republic has a system whereby...
Yeah, difference is the president's voted for, isn't he?
Well, yeah, but he's not voted to... he's not voted... Well, perhaps, well, yes, but they have...
I did not vote for the Queen.
Well, no, but the thing is, what happens is every so often they'll sort of elect the head of state, who then can do whatever the hell they like. So, it appears that you sort of virtually elect a king every 4 years, who then becomes a sort of virtual absolute monarch. And, well, I don't know, do we really need... I mean, they seem to be treating... I mean, Hillary and Bill seem to be the royal family of the state at the moment.
Yeah, but I think that is largely down to the tabloids, isn't it? The tabloids like royalty, and the American tabloids are no different. They like to write about our royalty. They don't have their own, so they do. The tabloids do their best to create their own royalty.
Except, of course, those run by good old Mr. Murdoch, who appear to be doing their best to...
Dirty digger, mate.
Well, this is it.
Yeah, but I'm talking about American tabloids.
Yeah.
I mean, American tabloids would dearly like to write about American monarchy. They don't have any, so what they do is they write about the next best thing, which is the first family.
They borrow... So, yeah, and also they sort of, as you say, they print stories about other people's monarchs. But I don't know, I think that it's a wonderful smokescreen, all this shit, do we need to get rid of the Queen stuff. As I think there's probably, in Britain, there's enough money to make sure that no one goes without, everybody who wants and needs a home is housed, and also to have a monarchy which you're actually throwing money at. But I think the problem is, and I think that now perhaps, call me cynical if you want, but I'm thinking...
Okay, cynical if you want.
Thank you, I enjoyed that. No, perhaps it's Mr. Major's way of deflecting the country's natural anger against what he's done. I mean, he and Mrs. Thatcher have screwed the country for years, and now they're casting around looking for other people to take the heat. And if they can get their friends in the tabloid press to start blaming Prince Charles and the Queen and Diana or every other sort of hanger-on in the royal family, so much the better.
Is Princess Clotheshorse just a hanger-on?
I don't know. Yeah, very good. But, I think that perhaps it's time that people started thinking, well, who would really benefit from getting rid of the monarchy? It won't make any difference to your life or my life. It would make a difference, though, to people like Mr. Major or Mrs. Thatcher, who could say, hey, vote for me, I want to be queen, I want to be president. It's just sort of a new way of introducing jobs for the boys, So I think perhaps any politician who says, I think that we should have a republic, you've got to say, well, why? What's in it for you, mate?
Yes, I think that's a very good approach to take. What's in it for you, mate? Because I don't believe that anybody is motivated to do anything unless there is something in it for them. Even seemingly charitable acts are generally motivated by somebody. Somebody just likes being charitable. They get a kick out of it. There's got to be a motivation for everything, and that I believe the motivation tends to be individual.
Yes.
Or for the gratification of the individual. Whether you measure gratification in money or a particular feeling of doing good.
Or power.
Or whatever.
There's a lot of them on a power trip, aren't they? The politicians.
Well, you've got to look at what exactly is power. I mean, it slightly worries me that every 4 years I vote for somebody. I vote somebody into a position where they can tell me what to do. I don't like that.
No, I don't. I'm thinking that now the pace of change in Britain has been sort of vastly accelerated to the point where it's getting very worrying. And if people start messing around with the monarchy and say, right, well, we'll get rid of the monarchy, we'll have a republic, I think that perhaps they'll be releasing forces which sort of they wouldn't be able to control. It's like the French Revolution, they only meant to have a few executed. No, whoops, we seem to have lost most of the middle class to the guillotine, and we're sorry, but too bad.
So, as soon as you get rid of the monarchy, it's a free-for-all in power terms.
It appears to be, yeah, because it seems to happen that I don't know. I'm not.
Is it? Are you saying it's a case of better the devil you know?
I think so. Yes, because if you start messing around with something, the system it creaks a little bit, and it could be improved. I mean, God knows that our system could be improved. But I'm thinking that perhaps by changing it completely would not be a good idea. I mean, we tried a republic, and we said, "Oh, thanks very much, Mr. Cromwell, but please can we have our king back?"
See, my theory is that we as a nation will continually bitch about royalty, but deep down, nobody really wants to see him go.
I think that's right. I think that perhaps the reason that some people want to see royalty go is jealousy, because I've heard some of the monarchists. I mean, I saw that Michael Mansfield, the QC, and I thought he was talking about privilege, sort of a very expensive haircut, very sleek suit, very well fed, and I thought, you are telling me about privilege, pal? I thought, get out. No, I thought, on your bike.
Sa votre bicyclette, mon brave.
Well, yes, indeed.
That's French on your bike, pal, apparently.
Oh, that's very good, then.
Just remember that, if you're going on holiday this year to France, there's a useful French phrase to rank alongside, "Excuse me, can you tell me where to hire some flippers? And which way to the hospital my auntie has been struck by lightning? Sa votre bicyclette, mon brave."
Or, my partner has just... Oh, you love the French phrase. My partner has just used that phrase, and could you please tell me where the hospital is?
Yes, yeah. Don't say it to the police, by the way.
Oh, certainly wouldn't.
Because they've got no sense of humour.
No.
And they tend to arrest you, as I found out.
Ah, well, this is their job, isn't it, I suppose?
What, to arrest me? Bonjour, hello, shift, your job this morning, arrest this man who is on holiday in the south of France.
Well, they've got to do something. I mean, what the hell? I mean, never mind.
I was only speeding.
Oh, well.
They've got no sense of humour, the French.
Not at all, never mind.
Listen, I'm going to move on, but
Okay.
your theory, Martin, is we shouldn't replace the royal family, because if we do, it's going to be replaced by something even more costly, even more sinister.
President Thatcher, perhaps?
Oh,
Ugh.
yeah, you said it.
I know, or even somebody nice and ineffectual like Mr. Callahan, for example.
Yeah, somebody hell-bent on serving themselves and gratifying themselves and making themselves more and more powerful.
Yeah. Or Mr. Major, who seems to make a sort of...
I was thinking of President Perry, actually. I think that's quite a good idea.
That wouldn't be too bad. I think about Mr. Major, who seems to want to make a sort of hymn of praise to mediocrity. And I mean, well, who wants that?
Not me, matey, and that's for sure.
Okay, thanks, Ian.
Ta-ra.
Bye.
President Perry has a certain ring to it, doesn't it? Who we got on this line? We've got Mark next. Good morning, Mark.
Oh, bonjour, good morning.
Bonjour. Comment ça va?
That's all I heard.
Well, due to new EEC regulations, one link in every 12, one phone call in every 12 has to contain another European language.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, that's why we do that, you see.
Oh, is that right? Yeah, that's all
So
right.
it's
No, that's all right then.
that's bonjour, Mark. Comment ça va?
Did you get your painting done?
I don't. Well, no.
Didn't they turn up?
No.
Oh.
No is the answer to that.
Now that's answered that then.
Yes.
Now what I want to say is, do you want to get your £10 back?
Me £10.
Yeah, you back to England, didn't you? I told you the other night not to.
Yes.
Well, do you want to get it back?
Go on.
I'm saying they're not going to qualify.
Vote on them. Vote on them. I've got to vote on the brain. Bet on them not qualifying.
No, they won't qualify now.
They will.
Now they won't.
You will?
Well, no, because I was going to come down the shop. I said they'd lose, didn't I? I said if they won, I'd come down and spend some money down your shop.
Yes, you did.
I did. That's because the wife said, you know the Derby Day?
Yes.
The wife said to me, will you put this bet on? I said, you must be joking. I said,
On the favourite by any chance?
No. She had the third, 150 to 1.
And you
it was 200
didn't...
to 1 when I looked. I said, come on. It's made me look right.
It is, isn't it? Because you'd have got place money on
No,
that.
she got it, yeah. She put £1 on and got 20-odd pound back.
Oh,
So when I
dear.
seen it, I said, oh no. I said, I'm going to put that on.
Have you got any more tips for us?
Now the wife might have.
Well, ask her. Consult the oracle.
But I can't now. England's finished now.
What, as a country?
You've got a chance as well. Now, I won't be that bad. I'll just go for the football team.
Why is England finished?
They're rubbish. Now, come on. You know what I done? And I had a really good laugh. I put Freddie Starr back on, which I'd taped. Did you see his show the other night?
I didn't. I wish I'd known he was on, because he's very funny. I like Freddie Starr.
Honest to God, it's his new show, and he was absolutely brilliant.
Although, I saw the,
He had Bruno with him.
I saw not the index, the trailers.
Yeah.
And...
He done a Benny Hill, he was.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what struck me.
And he was... it's about time somebody done that, because that man was absolutely fantastic.
Funniest comic in the world now he's dead.
Yeah, and he's doing that, you know...
Isn't it funny how everybody called him a sexist pig when he was alive?
Well, I never know.
Well, no, I didn't, but I mean, you know, people worthier than me.
Oh, I think he was absolutely fantastic, that man. And he was doing that, and he had the people out of his show working with Freddie Starr. You know, some of the old people who used to work with Benny Hill.
Who is the... Oh, it's stuff like... yes, I know the guy.
And he's done all the funny walks.
Who is the funniest comic in the world?
Oh, well, they're all dead now, aren't they?
Which tends to make them not as funny as they used to be.
No. But they are, yeah, it's like you're saying, oh, God, all the good ones are dead, aren't they?
I was watching Spitting Image.
I'm not into that, funny enough.
Well, no, it's just they happened to have a Tony Hancock figure on it.
Yeah.
And I thought Hancock's hilarious. Morecambe and Wise.
Yeah.
Very, very funny.
And hello, you know, Tommy Cooper. Did you ever see that one? He's the one who done the blood downer, wasn't he?
A pint, that's nearly an armful.
Yeah, he says that it when I took the thing out his finger.
Yeah, is that it then? Do I get me badge?
Do I get me badge?
Be funny, innit? They must be 25, 30 years old.
Well, I'm getting on a bit myself, so...
Hancock's Half Hour.
Hancock's Half Hour. The one with the...
He used to have Sid James in them, didn't he?
I think he did, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not into these carry-on shows, but... like you're saying, that Morecambe and Wise. But it was brilliant, that Freddie Starr. And I taped it, and I was watching the football, and it was, I'm after all now, so I put Freddie Starr back on again.
Was he eating any hamsters, or is that a thing of the past?
No, he was eating Frank Bruno.
Was he now?
He was in there, and I've never seen a man as big as he is.
As big as Frank Bruno?
Yeah, he was that nervous.
Who, Frank was?
He was, because he thought he was coming over to give me a kiss. You know, he goes,
oh, yes.
And he kept doing and he kept trying to get out.
Well, it made you laugh. I was watching the football, and that was making me laugh.
That's why I switched over.
Yeah.
It's making me cry.
I thought it was hilarious, the footy.
Now, I'll tell you what, one more good one. One more good one. I don't know whether you got the same sense of humour as me. 1 Foot in the Grave.
Very funny. My father is Victor Meldrew.
No, and mine. Now,
It's
mine
just
is
the
my
same.
baby's, my baby's calling that. Because when we go visiting, when we leave the house, he lines them all up against the wall.
And shoots them.
And he's, I wish he would. And he searches.
Does he?
Line up, he says, and he searches them. He says, I know you've been here, you've been...
Why does he search them?
Well, they're everywhere, aren't they, in corners and looking in the cabinets, and he's making sure they're taking off.
He's making sure his grandchildren aren't on the rob.
Yes. And I think he does it for a joke, but I think he's serious himself.
That's it. I was going to say, at least my father sort of confines himself to going around on shutting cupboard doors and things.
Right. And he always says to me, now, when you come down, he said, bring the grandchildren. He said, just bring a couple. He said, don't bring them all at once.
I think he's got some sense, your father.
He is,
I aspire to being old and grumpy. It's where I want to be.
Yeah, that's it. It just looks like that. No, he's brilliant.
Yeah, that's where I want to be. Listen, I got to move on.
No, yes, get them all in, sir.
Speak to you
Do
soon.
you want to get your £10 back?
Yeah, vote on. What have I got to vote on?
I'm going to say they're not going to qualify.
Okay.
And if they do, I shall come down and spend some money in the shop, which I never done last. Okay?
I'll tell you what, if England qualify...
They won't, no, go on then.
Okay, so you wouldn't mind if they did qualify...
Oh, I hope they do, but they won't.
Coming into the studio and doing a Mexican hat dance.
I'll do that for you, sir.
Okey
And I'll do it on my own head.
Okie doke.
Okay?
Ta-ra.
Bye-bye.
Start practising, because we're still going to qualify. 754-123 in Wolverhampton, 236-235 in Shrewsbury. It's the Midnight Line on Beacon and WABC, free for all, so you can talk about anything you want to talk about. And we'll be back to the lines after this award-winning commercial break.
A new Renault 19, Brother Jocelyn? Isn't it wonderful, Father? But Brother Jocelyn, our vow of poverty. Sorry, Father, but until June 14th, Renault have this super offer. Put down 50% deposit on any petrol engine Renault 19 and get 2 years to repay the balance at 0% interest. That's no interest at all, Father. It's heavenly. Brother Jocelyn, you know what this is. This 0% interest. Temptation, Father. Temptation.
Renault Wolverhampton on the Bilston Road have the Renault 19 RL Prima 3-door from £8,459 on the road with a 50% 50% deposit of £4,229 and 24 monthly payments of £176. Offer subject to status. Call Renault Wolverhampton on Wolverhampton 453 111 for a written quotation. Bags I drive. Enjoy the biggest thrill you'll ever have with your clothes on and help raise money for the Spastic Society. We're looking for daredevils to join Beacon Radio this Sunday to abseil 100 feet down the Windsor Life building in Telford. Alternatively, if you've ever watched the Krypton Factor, you could do the Spastic Society sponsored assault course on Sunday the 13th of June. Get involved by helping to raise much needed funds and have a great time. Phone us now at Beacon on 0902 757 211. Now these are just 2 events. If you'd like to get involved in any other or require information, then call us on 0902 757 211. The Spastic Society, raising money for people with cerebral palsy.
You thought dinosaurs didn't exist anymore, but that's because they've been hiding. We've found them. The brilliant Dynamation's robotic dinosaur exhibition's been touring the UK, and now it's here at the West Midlands Safari and Leisure Park. Between now and the 10th of July, you can see their amazing Dinosaurs Alive exhibition for just £1 extra when you visit the West Midlands Safari and Leisure Park. So don't let grown-ups tell you that dinosaurs don't exist. Come and see them at the West Midlands Safari and Leisure Park on the A456 between Newbury and Kidderminster. See you there.
Midnight Line on Beacon and WABC. It's a free-for-all, so you can talk about anything you want to talk about. Numbers you need, 754 123 in Wolverhampton, 236 235 in Shrewsbury. And is that John, is it? It is. We'll put John on, and let's bring him straight onto the air. Well, he's probably the most famous parrot in the West Midlands and Shropshire, Johnny Morris.
Hello.
Hello.
How do?
I'm all right. How's Jammo the parrot?
Oh, he's okay. He's pecking his feathers at the moment. He's a bit agitated.
What's he agitated about?
Well, we started off this test match today a little bit, you know.
We're rubbish at everything, aren't we?
But don't worry, because we
We're
have...
rubbish.
You remember Laker and Locke?
Freddie Laker?
Well, no, not him. He had it well through airlines, didn't he?
Well, yes, Skytrain.
Well, he wasn't a pilot. He was the organiser, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I'm talking about the chap that used to throw him up in the air and spin him.
That's what he did, wasn't it? Oh, I see, but the ball...
Oh, aye. Could
his
have done.
balls.
Yes, that's right. We've got a couple more now, haven't we?
But can throw balls into the air and spin
Yeah,
them.
we've got this young, what's his name? Such a great bloke.
Great bloke, fabulous, whatever his name
And
is.
this, what's the other one?
Give up, I don't like
I think
cricket.
they're going to do the old Aussies, you know, these two. I can almost forecast it.
See, I don't like cricket. I'm
Well, never mind, I can talk about something else.
I don't mind, no, I don't mind the one-day matches.
No, well, I do, you see, because that's not proper cricket, it really, is it? That's just a slug-off, isn't it?
But, I mean, if you have anything over a one-day match, the most common result is rain, stop, play.
Well, it hasn't got to be rain, stop, play, really. I mean, the great thing about watching cricket is that it just keeps going, doesn't it? I mean, it's great.
Yes, it's not over in 90 minutes.
No, that's right. It's not like football, which is an utter disaster now in this country, isn't it?
Yeah, no.
I've heard some of the comments on tonight.
I was thinking of getting interested in cricket, just in case
Well, you
you're any
ought to,
good at
really,
it.
because once you get interested in it, it's absolutely great. You won't have to worry about football after that, and I love football.
What's a ghoulie?
A ghoulie? A ghoulie?
Or is it a googly?
Oh, well, that's when you think the ball's going one way, it goes the other.
That's a googly, is it? When you spin somebody a googly?
Oh, I think we can do the Aussies on the old googlies.
We can get them in the googlies.
Well, we can often get these Aussies, and why don't they play any blacks?
Who, the Aussies?
Yeah.
Give up. Why do you think they don't? Are they racist?
Well, I'm asking you.
I don't know. Maybe they're not good enough, mate. I don't know. Or maybe they're racist, one of the two.
Well, it's worth asking, isn't it? You ought to leave that for one night and say, well, why do they get away with it and we don't?
What about some more strange cricket terms? What's a silly mid-off?
Oh, well, he gets so close to the bat that he thinks he's good enough to catch the ball. Smack off the bat, right up the nose.
And he's silly.
Well, if he's got a big nostril, no, he catches it.
But why do they call him a silly mid-off?
Well, he is silly, really, because he's a bit sillier than the other two that are a bit farther away.
So he sort of stands waiting to get hit with the bat?
No, with the ball.
Or
if he gets hit with the bat, that's very unfortunate.
And he's a very silly mid-off.
Well, he is, yeah.
So then, can you actually differentiate? You then have silly mid-offs and very silly mid-offs.
Oh, yes, you do, really, because you can't get too close to the batsman these days, of course, because of interference with his stroke, as they say. You know what your stroke like, you know.
So the stroke is the thing when
yeah,
you
well,
hit the ball.
if you play your stroke and you hit the silly mid-off or silly mid-on up the nose...
Oh, we've got silly mid-ons as well.
Oh, yes, you've got sillies both sides.
So which way's off?
Off is... well, I'm a left-hander. That's complicated.
It does, isn't it? Right,
Hey, look, Ian, you don't want me to tell you... Oh, no, they don't like it to spin. They love the ball to come straight at them so they can smack it, because they're good one-handers, you know what I mean?
So I've heard.
But I thought I'd say that, but I've been watching the test match today, and it's been about football, and I thought, well, let's talk about cricket, because it is a...
Well, what are some of the other key terms? Because I think one of the things that puts me off cricket is people say, well, he's standing at silly mid-off, and I don't understand what they're talking about.
No, well, we must educate the sort of people like you. Really.
We must be the only country in the world that can actually give you a half-hour step-by-step programme about American football, but never bother explaining cricket because
we don't.
Because they believe that it's inherently born into every Englishman a knowledge of the name of the game.
Like that, yeah.
Yes,
absolutely. You ought to have a special programme one night talking about cricket and what people don't know about it, and what it is a bit inverted actually. It is just for the people that know about it, and you know, at Shrewsbury we're here. We play, and there's nobody pays to come in, and we may get about 4 or 5 supporters.
As many as that?
Well, yeah, and that's only the first team.
I must admit, when I've been to internationals and when I've watched cricket, I have found it a thoroughly enjoyable experience. I don't know what's going on. But what I think I tended to find the enjoyable bit was the fact that the bar was open all day.
Oh, yes, we're good boozers. We love it. Well, some are. Don't forget, cricket is still a bit upper class.
Well, the more lager I got down me, the more interesting the game seemed to become.
It is beginning to bend. I mean, cricket is getting more for the masses now. Don't forget it wasn't at one time, and I think you'll find that most cricket clubs are straining to be able to get people to come and play for them at all ages, and of course raise funds so they can promote the game.
Where's the slips?
Oh, I mean, you can slip up anywhere.
Well, it says you get caught in the slips.
Well, somebody did get caught in the slips today. It means that you haven't played a proper shot, and it hasn't hit the middle of the bat, and it's hit the edge of the bat, and it's flown off towards the slips. It is a slip.
Oh, right. So
if you're a good bowler...
Like a slipstream.
That's right. If you're a good bowler, you have 3 slips. If you're not very good, you have none.
Right.
But if you're a slow... Well, I'll be going all night. Anyway, I could do with doing couple more points.
Go on.
I heard you talking about the Queen today, early evening.
Good point.
And you said I didn't vote for the Queen.
No, I didn't.
Well, you get 2 votes in this country. You get one for the Queen and one for the Prime Minister.
Do you?
You don't get that in America.
You actually do get to vote for the Queen. This was something that I was hitherto unaware of.
Yeah, but I'm only saying you get a vote for her, but you can vote against her if you like you did. But at least you get 2 votes in this country. In America, they only get 1, the president. I thought I'd just pull you up on that.
What about your congressman?
Oh, well, you get another vote then. And of course we do in local elections. But I thought I would just show a little bit of loyalist by saying that our system, you get 2 votes. In America, they only get 1.
Right.
And the other thing I wanted to talk about, that's only a quick assumption of reference. The other thing I wanted to talk about the teachers, really.
This is the lot that have been booing.
Oh, and hissing. And what a shame that they couldn't have them at... where did England play the last game?
Norway.
What a pity they weren't in the major stand at Norway.
Yelling, what a load of Norsemen.
Well, I would have thought that would have been lovely for them all. And they're supposed to be educated people.
Well, yeah, but even educated people can get a little bit uptight, can't they? And
not really. They're
react.
supposed to be above that, you know. I mean,
well, I'm educated and I react.
Well, I react a bit, but you're about... Well, you're maybe just a bit beyond me, but you're not supposed to be that if you're a head teacher. I mean, you don't go into the class because somebody can't have a 2 and 2 and hit at the bloody poor old bugger that can't do it.
Well, they might learn to do it for the next day if you did.
Yeah, well, they might do, but you know what I mean. I'm talking between the lines.
A little bit more composure.
Well,
a little bit more logical argument.
Yeah, we're not going to get anything with the teachers unless they throw out representatives that can at least put up some sort of an act. I mean, I'm not saying the minister that talked to them was correct or wrong. He might have been totally wrong in what he's saying. But to hiss and boo somebody shows a lack of, I would say, coordination between one's brain and one's thoughts.
Okay, strong stuff.
Well, I mean, I might be wrong, but I would expect our teaching profession to be a little bit beyond hissing anyway.
Okie dokie. Listen, John, I've got to move on.
Okay, mate, thanks for the talk.
Send our regards to Jamo.
I will. He's just upping around on the perch at the moment, and I'm going to say next time he can come on.
Okie dokie.
Ta-da.
See you soon. Ta-da. Because next on the lines, on this line here, with the most famous catchphrase in the West Midlands and Shropshire, it is Big E, Captain Napalm. We're talking Eric. Come on, Eric. I've just heard myself say that. Come on. Come on, Eric. There it goes. There it goes. The most famous catchphrase in the West Midlands and Shropshire. Full 18-inch mix this morning, and you can't buy catchphrases like this. Good morning, Eric. Can you turn your wireless down a bit, Eric? Hello? Eric? I get really bored of hearing myself back. Hello, Eric? Are you in there?
Ian!
Eric! Good morning.
Good morning.
What can we do you for?
Now, I have a couple of 3 points I want to make to
Okie
you.
dokie.
At first, I don't think we should get rid of the monarchy at all. I don't believe in presidents like it is in America. We should keep our monarchy. It's been going for many hundreds of years, and we should still stick to it.
Yeah, but I mean, so skin cancer, but, you know, doesn't necessarily mean you want it to continue.
Well, I think it should continue, but...
I think Martin had a good point where he said, well, if you replace it, you've got to replace it with something else, and you've got to ask the question...
The likes of Maggie Thatcher or
yes,
John Major.
Yes, why would somebody else want to be
that's no
in
good
that
to
position?
Us. They were no good to us. I mean, look at John Major. Teddy said tonight that he should have sacked Lamont when the Black Wednesday come on.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Yeah, he said he should have sacked him then. He said, but John Major is that too sentimental about his friends in the House of Commons. He studies them and not the country. And
so he should have been harsher.
He should have been harsher. And the thing is, he's moved. He's only moved them round, admit, but he's not moved the policy. It's the policies we want. Not the movement of them, but the change of policy.
But then, as what's his face, Paddy Ashdown was saying the other day, that okay, you have to institute policies. These policies are not going to be well received because they're going to be, as they put, painful. I would say expensive. They're going to cost us money.
Well,
are they delaying doing that to try and maintain some popularity?
What's costing the country more now, more money now than anything?
Give up.
Unemployment. No proper industrial outputs. They're only layoff factories now that we've got now. Our washing machine factories are gone, our Uber machine factories are gone, the electrical factories are gone, the steel factories are gone. There's nothing now, only just there's the Japanese have took the biggest part of the country, and so is the Italians come in with them now. So where does the British people study? They don't stand an earthly chance, either in politics, either industrial, or the freedom.
It's all a bit doom and gloom, isn't it, Eric?
No, I don't think it is. I mean, when you look at it, you got a man like Hazeltine closing pits, which is a miner's bread.
But the point is, we as a nation, when something like that happens, we get outraged for a day, and then we forget about it.
That's it. And if the British people, if the British industrial people would have stood together and have closed every factory and every power and gas down until he was out, or till that government was out, we should have probably been better off today.
But we don't, do we?
But we don't.
We have a little wind.
You see,
and that's the end of it. I'll tell you what, Eric, just hang on there, and we'll get back to you after the news at 1 o'clock. It's a free-for-all on Beacon and WABC, 754-123 in Wolverhampton, 236-235 in Shrewsbury. Talk about anything you want to talk about. Well, that is what a free-for-all is all about. The show is only as narrow as your own imagination. We'll be back with Eric and some more calls after we've caught up with the local and national and international news. What I meant to say. I was close.
The 1 o'clock news, this is Julie Sedgwick. Thousands of air passengers faced disruption today despite an 11th hour agreement struck between British Airways and the Transport and General Workers Union. BA warns up to 500 flights into and out of Heathrow and Gatwick could be cancelled. The TNG says strike action can only be called off officially by shop stewards later this morning. Meanwhile, BA faces another confrontation, this time with its pilots, who voted to strike in a similar dispute over paying conditions. Chris Stark, General Secretary of the Pilots Union BALPA, is calling for urgent talks.
We want to go back to the company and say we have this mandate, not in a threatening manner, but to say that we would like now to find ways of resolving this problem through negotiations. But clearly we have that mandate, and that must be an important factor in conditioning how we go from here. But there's no question at the present moment in time of any industrial action.
The search for 2 missing crewmen from the tanker disaster in the Channel has been called off. Both are feared dead after the British Trent was hit by a cargo ship off the Belgian coast, claiming the lives of 7 people. Marine accident investigators will today board the smouldering tanker to try to find out the cause of the accident. House prices are falling again. A survey by the country's biggest mortgage lender, the Halifax, shows prices were down by nearly 1.25% last month. Here's financial editor Danny Bowers.
After a couple of months of rising house prices, the survey finds the higher trend once again faltering in May. Although not entirely unexpected, the figures paint a picture of a so far inconclusive recovery. The Halifax expects a better second half of the year, but house price rises by up to perhaps 5% are not expected until next year. There's speculation the Chancellor might be prepared to cut interest rates to boost economic recovery, although if he does, it's by no means certain home lenders will pass on cheaper borrowing in lower mortgage rates.
Independent Radio News.
Presented by Safeway Windows, Doors and Conservatories, Oxford Street, Bilston.
490949 Bilston 4909.
Mostly clear overnight, though there will be some mist patches before dawn and low clouds spreading into the area. The low cloud will clear in the morning, leaving a warm day with sunny periods. Top temperature 20 Celsius, 68 degrees Fahrenheit. The outlook more of the same, warm with long sunny periods. The temperature now is 9 Celsius, 48 degrees Fahrenheit.
Beacon Radio.
Midnight Line on Beacon and WABC. We're speaking to Eric. Good morning again, Eric.
Good morning, Ian.
Good morning. Now, we were talking about the British people.
Yeah.
The government policies.
Everything has gone now for British people. They've got nothing. They're just rubbing rags now for other countries.
Well, what about this idea that the government is going to vote against instituting a maximum 48-hour working week?
Well, a 48-hour working week, yeah. But did you, that one MP tonight speaking on his
constituency? It's easy for me to say.
It's all right. I got my tongue twisted.
It's quite all right.
And he said there was a security man in his constituency that worked 1 week 62 hours, and another week he'd work 72 hours. and was getting £2.75, I think he said, an hour, and gets no overtime. And when he wrote to the ministry about it, he said, well, there's one thing. He said he could resign his job.
And go on the dole.
And go on the dole. That's an Home Secretary. And that was on tonight's news roundup.
What, with John Craven?
At 10:30 on not BBC 2.
Ah, no, it's not John Craven. He's on at about 5 o'clock.
Yeah. Another thing is, Ian, is this, you know, this, what they call it, this Maastricht bill.
Yes.
How on earth do they think that we can all side by side with one another when we look what's going on in Germany?
I'm not sure how. I mean, we talked about the Maastricht Treaty a couple of weeks ago, and one of the main points to come out was that it'd be political and social unity across Europe would be absolutely nice and brilliant and wonderful if it was already, if the mechanisms for it were already in place. Vis-a-vis, we all went to bed at night thinking, yeah, what a great day. Wasn't it great fun, that trade agreement we had with the Germans? You know, if we all already got on, there would be no problem with formalising it. But the fact is, we don't get on.
No,
and I still can't see that within any formalised European unity, countries wouldn't be looking out for themselves. I mean, as it stands at the moment, on the one hand, we're saying we don't want these workers' rights from the Maastricht Treaty, and the rest of Europe, instead of saying, oh, that's not very nice, is it, for your workers, have taken another view of it, and they're saying, hey, what you're trying to do is pay your workers nothing so you can poach all our jobs. So there's already competition and there's already friction within the partnership.
Yes, you see, this government is taking their own word through to this Maastricht bill. The British people haven't had a vote on it, and the Turks are up against the Germans now. They're at loggerheads with the Germans because of that fire in Germany, in Berlin, where he killed them 5 or 6 people. Then you've only got to go out the froggies. They aren't very kind with us.
No, they've been burning our lamb and spoiling fish.
That's it. I mean, where do you toe the line?
As I say,
are we going to give them a licorice all sales out and tell them to turn around and say, suck this and see if it's British?
I mean, if you looked at it as a sort of one-to-one relationship, if a woman, if you went out with a woman and every time you went out with her she hit you over the head with a baseball bat, the chances are that you wouldn't particularly want to marry her.
No, very true.
And yet what we're doing is marrying a woman who hits us over the head with a baseball bat.
That's it. I mean, we're not the same now as when Churchill said, united we stand, united we fall. But we're not united.
What, as Europe or as the UK?
The UK are not united. I mean, you take Ireland, for instance.
What, Northern Ireland?
Yeah. And that's supposed to be part of the British Commonwealth.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to be part of the Union.
Yeah. England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales. And then you take the Welsh.
Oh, yes.
You know, it's you get out or we'll burn you out.
Oh, sons of Glendower.
Right?
Yes.
And then there's the Scots. They want their own ruling power. So where do we toe the line?
And yet we're sort of trying to integrate into an even more complicated situation than the one we've already got, that you could argue that we can't control at the moment.
That's correct. So there you see, I mean, you know how many beans make 5, don't you?
5?
Huh?
5, he said, hazarding a guess.
2 in each hand, you know what to do with the other one?
I can guess.
Yeah. So it's just the same with John Major as far as I'm concerned, because if he got an elastic band around his neck and he was hanging, he'd be a proper bloody puppet.
He would, wouldn't he, Eric?
Yeah.
A right marionette.
But it's like Edward Heath said tonight, he said, after all said and done, you know, he said,
I think myself, he said, the unions have had too much of a run, and now it's come to tighten the collar up now. He said we should turn around and think of releasing Joe Garment. We should be carried on the way we had her carried on.
But he said, I mean, he would say the unions have had too much of a run, because I can understand why Edward Heath would have a downer on unions after 1973.
Yeah, because in 1974 they threw me out.
But I don't think the unions have had much of a run. I think they've been more or less systematically destroyed.
Well, Maggie destroyed them, hadn't her? She was the first to say that she'd destroy the unions as fast as her could.
But that again is how I don't understand. Maybe the unions have to shoulder a share of the blame for it. But I don't understand how the rank and file mass of the United Kingdom shouts out, "Hooray! Maggie's destroyed the unions! Hooray! We've got no rights! Hooray!"
Yeah, well, according to what I heard today on the radio, you know the tube station at King's Cross?
Yeah.
They're going to close that, aren't they?
No, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, someone about it going to close it, someone.
Yes, sad situation. Listen, I got to move on, Eric.
Anyway, Ian.
Nice to speak to you.
Good night, God bless.
Ta-ra.
Love to them all.
Okie dokie.
Pauline Rose and all the rest of
The
them.
world.
Davis. Bye.
Bye. There we go, Eric. On Beacon and WABC. Free for all, 754-123 in Wolverhampton, 236-235 in Shrewsbury. Next on the lines, on this line here, we got Colin. Good morning, Colin.
Good morning, Ian.
What can we do you for?
Well, actually, after some comments that Eric's just made, I don't know whether I should say what I was going to.
You say what you want.
Well, what I was thinking is, okay, going back to the football theme.
Yes.
Unfortunately, to some people, I do not like football, and I'm not really much into it.
Right.
But as far as I can tell, with this World Cup business, we get, in this country, 4 bites at the cherry. You got the Scotland, Wales, England and Ireland thing.
Yeah, well, yes.
So, and as you pointed out earlier on in this programme, until you corrected yourself, you said the Sun were being anti-British. So, why, if we can't do it with 4, why don't we club together and actually get a British national football team?
Great Britain?
Yeah, to play in the World Cup and see if we could do better than that.
Not a bad idea.
I'm just looking at this
Just
as
play
a
the
total outsider.
Yeah, play the Southern Irish side and call them Great Britain. Yeah, that sounds like a really good idea. I think we should do that.
I freely admit I am an outsider. I'm not really into football. But if we can't do it with keeping the countries as 4 separate things, why don't we club together and get an actual Great British team?
Because the worrying thing is, of course, that based on the fact that we have 4 goes at it,
and we still can't get in.
the Russians have about 267 goes at it.
Yeah.
Lithuania and so forth, Latvia.
Oh, but they never used to, though, did they?
No, they didn't, but they used to just get 1 go at it. Now they're having like 267 goes. No, it's not a bad idea, that. I can't see FIFA worrying it, but never mind, at least you're thinking in the right direction.
Yeah, like I said, that's as an outsider, to football.
Yeah, no worries.
And, after the comments that Eric made about, which is true, I must admit, you got Scotland wanting their independence and you wanting Wales. I mean, is this a country or what?
Do you think that they have any argument for independence?
Well, as an English-born, Scotch-blooded person, I'm not really in a position to say, because all my relations are Scottish.
Is that right? Is that?
Unfortunately, I'm a Campbell as well.
What, you make soup?
Well, no. Apparently, we sold England to Scotland. Scotland to England, and.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, apparently,
Bet you're a popular boy when you go north of the border.
Well, that's it. Apparently, there's one place up in Scotland. I've only been told this, but there's one place where you can be an English guy and walk up there and be properly welcome. If you're a Campbell, forget it.
Well, I'm a Gordon. I think. I think we're okay. I don't think we did anything naughty like that. But we are. Our biggest claim to fame here in the Gordon clan is the fact that we've got the worst tartan ever.
Well, what colours is that?
Oh, sort of like cat sick.
Oh, right.
It really is the fact. I went to a wedding once in Dundee. and it was one of these wear your own kilt. So I hired one, and all these kilts were laid out in this room, and there was all these sort of bold tartans, all the sort of reds, and I thought, oh yeah, this is going to look great. And then I just saw this one, and it looked like the cat had been sick on it. I thought, I bet that's mine, and it was.
That's bad news, that is.
It certainly is. It's very, very bad news.
If any of your followers, the culture lovers and all that, got opinions on this football thing that I said, it'd be interesting, I reckon, to hear if we should have a Great Britain team instead of 4 individual, teams to have a go at it, pull all our resources together.
But I think we currently do have English and British teams. Like, for example, when Nottingham Forest or Aston Villa or Liverpool win the European Cup, they are English sides. Mm-hmm. When Celtic win it, they are British.
Yeah, it's like that with, I've heard in the Olympics and stuff like that, when there's, Liz McGolgan or whatever it is failed, oh, that's a bad blow for Scotland and, Britain, sorry, and...
No, I think when they lose, it's a bad blow for Scotland. When they win, it's a great day for Britain.
Britain, yeah, that's it. That's what I mean.
Yes, it's very, very, very off. Very hypocritical. Don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad idea, but we'll see what everybody else thinks.
Yeah. Could I have a quick word with you off air, if possible?
Well, you have to hang on, I'm afraid. But yeah, I suppose why not? Who's on this line? Susan.
Yes, hello.
Hello, Susan.
Hello.
Is that you?
Yes, it is.
And how are you this morning?
Oh, I'm fine.
Well, yes, a little more than fine, a little stork tells me. Now then, tell everyone the story, Susan.
Okay, not much of a story.
Oh,
really.
it is. No, it is.
All right,
Your boyfriend?
My boyfriend.
Has been a bad lad?
Has been a bad lad, yes.
Allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
Allegedly. And he's in Nick, isn't he?
Yes, he is. He's on House 5 in Featherstone.
So, good morning, Featherstone. Because I've got a lot of listeners in Featherstone.
I know.
In fact, they've actually voted me an honorary sentence. 6 months for shoplifting. That's really nice. They're very nice guys. And what's his name?
His name is Swingler, Craig.
Right, now, before he got put away, you had a night out. Well, in, really.
No, after he got put away.
After?
Yes, because they let them out now.
Do they?
Yeah, for a couple of days at home now and again.
So this was a home visit? So
yes.
Is he coming towards the end of his sentence?
Yes, soon enough, yeah.
Yeah, so he's served his debt to society.
Well.
Sort of. And he came out now to try and integrate prisoners back into society and get them away from the prison regime.
Yeah.
He gets to come home sometimes.
That's right, yeah.
Home leave.
That's it.
And you like to make him feel welcome.
That's it, yeah. Very welcome.
Well, incredibly welcome, yes. And on this particular home leave,
yes,
he was made to feel more than wanted.
Yes.
I think it's fair to say that passion took place.
Yes, it did.
And you did sex.
Yes.
We can say
I
this
admit it,
at
yes.
18 minutes past 1 in the morning. You can say it, that you did sex.
Yes, we did.
Yes, admit it. It doesn't matter, you see. I like that. That's honesty. Right, so you did sex.
Yes.
Now, he went back to Priz.
Yes, he did. Was, encouraged to go back.
Yes.
With a little bit of help, he didn't want to.
No, I can understand that. I can understand that, because he probably doesn't get quite the same sort of welcoming embrace off the warders, does he? As he gets off you.
That's right.
Now, so he went back to Priz after a bit of encouragement, and things started to happen for you, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
At that point?
Yes.
In time?
Inside.
And you thought you might be up the duff?
Yes, I thought it.
And so, what did you do?
I did a test.
And you have the results of that test?
Yes, I have the results now. Just about an hour ago.
An hour ago? Hey, this is hot news. We're the first radio station in the world to be carrying this news. And what are the results of your test?
Well, he's going to be a daddy.
Well. Congratulations. And I'm really pleased about that, because the responsibility, you see, once you've got responsibility for little kiddies and things, you can't be naughty.
I know it.
You can't keep saying to the little kiddie, Daddy's got to go away for another 2 years or
This
3.
is it, yeah.
Got to behave yourself now. So he's going to be a daddy. When's it due?
Well, in about 8 months now, yeah.
Wait a minute, that's... oh, no! Oh, you're going to have it on Cup Final weekend, aren't you?
Hope Scotland didn't versus England anyway.
No, it's going to be Cup Final weekend you have that. That's just typical. I often thought, you know, if I ever became a father, it's just my luck it'd be sort of Cup Final weekend or European Cup night or something like that. So he's going to be a daddy. What's his name again?
Swingler.
Swingler?
No, Swingler.
Swindler? Oh, what's he in for, can we ask? We know everything else about him. Go on.
Oh, just lots of silly things, you know, large things. Taking cars and things, you know.
But he's going to be a good boy now, isn't he?
Well, so he says anyway, yeah.
Okie dokie. Well, listen, we wish you all the best with that.
Okay, thank you.
And congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Okie dokie.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
There we go. The quickest way of getting the news to the Nick. There you go. You're going to be a daddy, mate. Ah, 754-123 in Wolverhampton, 236-235 in Shrewsbury. It's the Midnight Line on Beacon and WABC. It's a free-for-all, so you can talk about anything you want to talk about. We'll have a track from our featured CD, and then we'll go back to the lines. We've got Mike to speak to, we've got Paul to speak to, and we'll speak to them after the featured CD this morning, Once in a Lifetime, the best of the Talking Heads. From it, and we'll play this for the England manager.
Well, we know where we're going, but we don't know where we've been. And we know what we're knowing, but we can't say what we've seen. And we're not little children, and we know what we want, and the future is certain. Give us time to work it out.
Midnight Line on Beacon and WABC. It's a free-for-all, 754-123 in Wolverhampton, 236-235 in Shrewsbury. We've got Candy on the lines, but you don't want to go on the air, do you? No, oh no, I don't, no. All right, well, listen, we'll give you a ring, all right? All right, bye. There we go. See, just wanted to do an interview, lovies, darling, sweeties. Right, away. Headphones falling off. Okay, who we got next? Next on the lines, we've got Mike. Good morning, Mike. Probably. Who's on this line, then? If it ain't Mike.
Hello.
Hello, who's that?
Paul.
I was close, though, wasn't I? Mike's All right, then, what can we do for you, Paul?
Yeah, you were on about St John Ambulance.
Somebody was naughty enough last night to suggest that, that St John Ambulance people are, by and large, pale, thin and ugly.
Well, I can tell you, I used to be a member of St John Ambulance.
Now, are you pale?
No.
Are you thin?
Medium. I'm not fat, I'm not thin.
So, right, perfectly formed.
And I'm not ugly.
No.
Well, I wouldn't class myself as ugly, so I've been told.
But there again, nobody would. You can tell as many jokes as you like about ugly people, because nobody actually believes themselves to be ugly.
Yeah, but there is one thing I've got against him, right? I mean, although I had to leave the St John's through to owing to ill health, which I've got over now, I did hear on your station and on Esther Hansen show about a first aid course they was doing, and he gave a telephone number.
Right.
Telephone number, which I found. They answered, we'll get in touch with you, and they never did. I found again, the same thing again. They never got in touch with me, so I just get up, open it in there.
What were you phoning for?
It was a first aid course I was doing.
So you could just disappear off, do your first aid course, disappear back?
Yeah, sort of thing, you know, without being like a member of the brigade, because before I was a member.
So it's to promote greater, what? Awareness, first aid awareness?
Yeah, for the people, it's supposed for the public, you know, to learn first aid.
So I suppose you'd know what to do if you sort of walk past somebody in the street and they dropped down, they fell over, they fainted.
Yeah, well...
You'd know what to do.
Yeah, well, I had a job on the Dudley Metropolitan Council, and we walked into the toilets where I worked to lock them up. We found a chappie on the floor. He'd had a massive heart attack. And of course, there was no hope for him. We tried, but they just nodded their head when the ambulance chaps and that got there. They put oxygen in that on him, but...
But at least you've got a rudimentary knowledge of first aid.
Oh, yeah.
Which is something I don't have. I keep thinking that I should have it.
It's always nice to have, because as you know yourself, like me, I mean, you could, such as now, you could leave the studios, walk outside saying meet a car accident, or somebody fall down, or have a heart attack, stroke, anything. And if you know what to do, then that's half the battle for them.
Well, what are the basics of first aid then?
Well, it's to promote what's name life, you know, and all that game.
See, I mean, you know, one of my greatest fears is that one day somebody will go into labour near me and I'll have to go and boil some towels or whatever it is you do. That's it, you boil towels, don't you?
I was in the cadets when we had a little bit of a case like that on Dudley Zoo when they took her into the... There used to be a pram shed. I don't know what it is now because I know they closed it down, but what it is now I don't know. But I know we took her in there, and there was a couple of our St John Ambulance nurses there with us, like, and then the police come, and me only being a cadet at the time, a youngster, you know, I think you'd better stand outside, son, if you don't mind. So we stood outside.
So the woman gave birth at Dudley Zoo?
She was going into labour at Dudley Zoo, yeah. We just... one of the cadets went up and told them at the first aid post. They brought the ambulance down, got her in, and up to the hospital as quick as they could.
So, but she actually gave birth in the zoo?
No, she was going into labour. This is it, going into labour. I was hoping... I know it don't sound very good, but I was hoping I'd see it. But to know about it, I didn't see it.
Just purely for professional purposes, of course.
Yeah, I should love to have seen it. I mean, I've done some training in casualty at Dudley Guest, and, you know, when you found 999, like, they usually bring them in, and I've seen all sorts of things, death and all sorts, but the one thing I should love to see is childbirth. I've never seen that. I've seen it on films, but not real.
The opposite end of the spectrum, so to speak, as such.
Yeah.
What's it like? I mean, I've never seen anybody die, I don't think. Bit of a morbid subject, but I mean, you've got to ask these things, haven't you?
Yeah, it's, how can I put it? As I say, that chap who died in the toilets, he was a very cold, like a clammy, very whitey colour. And, of course, as I say, we got him out, tried, and to no avail. Another body I've seen is a friend of mine had died. He was in his 40s, but he was riddled with cancer. And he was only in his 40s, as I say, but to look at him in the coffin, I mean, they did tell me, they did warn me, he's not like he used to be, you know, it could be frightening to you if you suffer with your nerves, which I did do. You know, it's best to not see it. And I said, no, I want to see him for the last time, I want to see him. And he looked like 200 and odd, honest to God. All his hair had gone like a white colour. It was bloody terrible. I wish I'd never seen it. I can still see it now, and that's been 4 years back. It still plays on my mind a bit now.
See, I mean, I remember my dad going to see his dad, my grandfather, after he died. My dad said he looked very peaceful, and he was glad he'd seen him.
Yeah. Now, I went to see another person, an auntie of mine. Now, she looked peaceful. It was just like, how can I put it, just like you've gone to sleep. And when I worked at the hospital, I had to go and see it there, you know, me working there at Burton Road. And I mean, I saw them on the slab, as they call it, there. And there was nothing to it. It's just as though they were asleep, all except the one. And she was, they told me it was 52, I think it was. And it was just lying there like. But she was purple. Why, I don't know. I didn't ask.
No, it's not. No, I suppose not.
You know, I don't.
Mate, you didn't have
I didn't ask, but they
you
said
didn't
they
have your
died
foot
with a
on
heart attack.
You didn't have your foot on a breathing tube, did you?
No, she was already in there.
She was already
24 hours. Yeah.
Popped her clogs.
Yeah.
Because we got funny attitudes, haven't we, to death in the West?
Yeah.
I mean, like every different culture has its own way of dealing.
Yeah.
With death. I've always reached the conclusion. The only conclusion I've reached in my life is that my death ain't going to bother me.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't
it'll bother everybody else, but I'm going to be past caring. Somebody said, do you want to be buried or cremated? I said, I don't know, surprise me.
No, on them views myself, I think I'd like to be like my mother and father, cremated.
So
I prefer to be cremated. The thought of being in the ground and all them grubs and worms coming at you.
Yeah.
Oh!
Well, I suppose you know a great deal about it.
Yeah, I'd rather be cremated.
I don't know. I don't know, because I've got this, almost...
Well, you ain't going to feel it. Either way, really.
But what if you suddenly find out you do? It's a bit late, isn't it?
I've never known anybody, when it's got that far, I've never known them jump up all of a sudden.
No, I suppose.
I've heard of it said when they've gone to bury them, they've knocked the coffin, but, you know, I mean, I don't believe it.
The Victorians used to do that. They used to have this morbid fear about being buried alive, and so they constructed all these, like, systems of bells.
Yeah.
So that if you were actually still conscious and so forth, you could ring the bell and they couldn't dig you up. What an absolutely horrible subject. How did I get onto this? No, it's quite fascinating. It's always fascinated me because it happens to everybody.
Yeah.
And I suppose it's...
I mean, I've been feeding a person while I was at Burton Road again working there. I was feeding a person, I had him go in my arms. And it's just like you holding a child. How it happened, it was just like you holding a child in your arms, feeding him. And you know how they doze off, they go to sleep.
Yeah.
It was just like that. But I got his weight. You know, you feel his weight.
Slipped away.
Yeah. You just, and that was it. That was his last breath.
Well, I want to be shot by a jealous husband when I'm 90.
I can arrange that for you.
Yeah, wait till I'm about 90, I think. Yeah, I see, I'm coming up to how old am I now? 34. So I've got another 6 or so years. And the way it tends to work in my family, if you're seeing your 45th birthday, you're going to be around till your mid-80s.
Oh, dear.
So, you know, this is the crisis. If I can get over the next 10 years...
Yeah. Well, I hope I can live that long. I'm 40 now, so I hope I can live that long.
Yeah, I want to see... I mean, people say, well, you know, 60 years and 10. So, no way, mate. I want at least 80.
Yeah.
I've got so much I still want to do and see, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, listen, interesting to talk to you, Paul.
Yeah.
And we'll speak to you again soon, I hope.
Yeah.
Ta-ra, mate.
Ta-ra a bit now.
Bye.
Ta-ra.
I really don't know how to get onto these subjects. Who have we got next? We got John. Good morning, John.
Hello, mate.
Hello, got you on at last.
Bloody hell, where the hell you find him from?
I thought it was quite interesting, actually.
Well, I found it
Grumpy
interesting,
John.
but, it was time. I thought I'd found him down the cemetery or something.
Well, no, I just... well, you think about it, it's right, though, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, true, very true, yeah.
It's right, I mean, we seem to have a very funny attitude in the West to death.
Yeah.
It's like we don't want to talk about it.
Uh-huh. Well, what I wanted to talk about was